Today on the channel we're going to be doing something a little bit differently. We're going to be comparing the Arcade1Up digital pinball machine with that of a modern day physical pinball machine. Now obviously when both of these products are purchased brand new, they're in two wildly separate different price categories. However, there may be some new pinball fans out there that are maybe asking themselves, can a digital pinball machine really scratch that pinball itch? Or should they save their money for a future investment for something like this? Let's go ahead and break it down and expand on it.
When it comes to design, both machines have many things in common. Both feature illuminated backbox displays, courtesy of LED-lit translite graphics. Each machine has its own dedicated scoring display on the backbox as well. The Stern display clocking in at 15.6 inches, and the Arcade1Up score display coming in at 7.5 inches. You'll find metallic legs on both pinball machines, each of their own adjustable self-leveling feet with rubber pads on the bottoms. Metal lockdown bars and side rails are also standard for both machines. While the commercial Stern machine features a layer of tempered glass protecting the playfield, the Arcade1Up differs in that it uses a layer of plexiglass to protect the playfield display monitor instead.
Now there may be some pinball fans out there where price isn't necessarily a deterrent. However, sometimes it just boils down to simple size in the home. Now it doesn't matter make, manufacturer, most physical pinball machines are going to be rather substantial when it comes to placing one in your home.
This specific Stern machine is 76 inches tall, 58 inches long, and 29 inches wide and weighs around 250 pounds. The amount of space this takes up in a home is rather considerable, hence why mine is located in the garage. The Arcade1Up machine is 59.5 inches tall, 36 inches long, 20.5 inches wide, and only weighs 97 pounds respectively, making it much less cumbersome in a home and far easier to move around should you need to. Where the physical machine, you would need to partially disassemble it and load it up on a handcart if you wanted to move it around from room to room. Now this is likely going to be the most crucial difference between these two machines that makes most consumers take a step back: price. Arcade1Up pinball machines will run you anywhere from $750 to $850 depending on the retailer. Regardless of whether you're buying the Star Wars, Attack from Mars, or Marvel machine, the MSRP is still going to be the same for all three of those machines. You'll get 10 virtual pinball games built into any of the Arcade1Up machines, but as you're already well aware, you only get one game on a physical pinball machine. The Stern pinball machine is obviously a commercial grade product originally intended for arcades, bars, and other amusement venues, which is a drastic difference from the Arcade1Up home use only business model.
Now Stern also makes a couple of pinball machines that are geared specifically for home use only. These are called home pins. Now these home pins oftentimes have many features, internal components, and materials altogether removed to help differentiate them from their commercial counterparts and to help reduce cost. However, a new in-box home pin from Stern is still going to run you $4,599 retail MSRP.
A Stern Pro model such as this one, which is their entry-level trim, retails for $6,499, and the price goes up from there if you wish to get a premium or limited edition version. Buying a commercial-grade pinball machine new is very similar to buying a car. The consumer must decide which features are most important to them, and then accordingly those features may or may not increase the cost of ownership. While the Arcade1Up pinball machines are still priced as luxury items in retail, it doesn't take 20/20 vision to see that there's a substantial difference in the cost of initial investment between the Arcade1Up standard home use virtual pinball machine and even the cheapest new in-box physical pinball machines on the market today.
Now, obviously this isn't really an apples to apples comparison, nor am I trying to insinuate or suggest you have to buy one brand or the other. There's plenty of different options out there in the market today for both new and used pinball machines, both physical and digital. However, since Arcade1Up and Stern are really the most recognizable brands out there for consumers today, I thought it would be fair to compare the two for education's sake.
If you need to work on either machine, you can do so by lifting their respective playfields up to access the internal components within the machine. Due to the digital nature of the Arcade1Up machine, there really shouldn't be any real need to do any sort of internal maintenance on your machine, since it already has a small fraction of the number of internal components inside it necessary to play these games. This means there are far less opportunity for something to break down, though if a component did break down on you, at least you would have easy access to the part. Whereas on the commercial grade pinball machine, things are much more intense under the hood, so to speak. Very much like owning a car, there is a recommended bit of regular maintenance that owners will need to do on their machine to keep it functioning in tip-top shape. Regular cleaning and waxing of the playfield, replacing worn rubber parts for flippers and slings, and even the occasional soldering job to swap out a faulty part may be necessary. If you're looking at this mess of wires and your head is spinning, and you don't necessarily want to commit the time to work on this type of machine, or the finances, then perhaps a digital offering like the Arcade1Up machine is enough to scratch that pinball itch for you. While it's obvious that there will be some glaring gameplay differences between a physical pinball machine and a virtual machine, I think Arcade1Up did the smart thing here with partnering with Zen Studios, as they have the best pinball physics available for digital pinball games in my honest opinion. Meaning simply, if you want the closest simulation of what playing a physical pinball game is, then you've come to the right place. Just like the larger commercial machine, the virtual Arcade1Up pinball machines offer many of the same gameplay features. You'll find a physical plunger you can use to accurately measure out your skill shots within the game. You can also choose to launch the ball with a secondary button instead, should you wish. This digital pinball machine also offers 4 solenoids to give players haptic feedback as the ball bounces around the playfield and makes contact with various components. Solenoids are an integral part of the physical pinball machine experience, so having them on this virtual machine also helps the players with immersion within the game. There's also an accelerometer built into the Arcade1Up units, allowing players to nudge and shake the machine to affect the path of the pinball while in play. Nudging is such an important part of becoming a skilled pinball player, so being able to replicate nudging on a digital machine in the same way you would a physical machine is a really nice touch. And of course, should you find yourself bashing those flippers enough to score high enough, both machines will record several tiers of a player's high score records.
You see, pinball is an incredibly fascinating thing. The game is incredibly easy to learn, but it's extremely difficult to master. And as technology improves, I'm glad to see companies like Arcade1Up offering something for the consumers that are just now getting into the world of pinball, since the price of owning something like this versus the initial investment of something like this is much more palatable for most consumers. And though you can never truly recreate the experience of playing a physical pinball machine, I'm very happy to see and experience the digital pinball machine offerings out there today, as they do a good job overall of recreating that experience.
Nice shot. There's a time for scrapping and a time for peace. Either way, Wolverine's the best there is.